All right, let's talk about the Timberwolves' future. Max, where do you think they should go from this point? Obviously, losing the West Conference Finals made it very far. Was unexpected for most people coming into the year. Me and Q had them as a top four seed, but didn't. I don't think we had them in the West Conference Finals. So, um, what's next for the Timberwolves?
It's really not to freak out. Um, I guess like coaching wise, it'll still be Chris Finch. You obviously might lose. What's their assistant's name again? The
Mike,
guy who's been
Is Finch still better than Jason Kidd?
Nori. It again, it's player personnel. If Cat, yeah, like we can do whatever we want. If
oh
Cat's
my
gonna shoot
God, no!
95,
He
then
outcoached
sure.
him. He outcoached him. He outcoached him. He outcoached him bad. He outcoached him bad, bro. What are we doing? It was like really
like you also gotta look at. I mean, 2 stars. The stars versus stars. Like
that's
Luca
fine
and
and all.
Kyrie dominated versus Ant and Cat. Like Ant and Cat did not show up for
That's
every game.
that's
3 games they did not do anything.
and for three
And
games,
again, Chris Finch
and
is
for
on
three,
the like. Chris Finch is
bro,
behind
I'm
the
not hearing that.
bench.
I'm not
He's
hearing that. I'm not
behind the
hearing that.
bench.
I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. Listen,
Like he's not even actually coaching.
Chris Finch did not make an adjustment for 3 games. He
He's
didn't put Jalen
behind.
down.
Okay,
What
fine.
does it have to do with making adjustments? What are you talking about? Come on, Max.
Like
So he can't make an adjustment because he's behind the bench. He can call a timeout and make an adjustment. It's not that hard. What are you talking
he's
about?
literally sitting behind the like. I'm sorry. It is a
So
difference between sitting behind the bench and being courtside, but that's fine.
so he
I'm not
can't
gonna get
tell
this
his
argument
assistant.
right
He can't
now.
tell his assistant to call. He can't tell his assistant to call a timeout and make an adjustment. He didn't put Jalen McDaniels on Kyrie to have him with more length until game 4. Like, what are we talking about right now? He kept in drop coverage for 2 games. And the blitzing. It was no really like the adjustment probably would have been like some people suggested benching Rudy, but their defense without Rudy on the court was terrible. So I don't think that was the answer.
Like I think like first of all,
More
Luka
Cal
just
Anderson
exposed
was
him
an
way too
adjustment.
much. The defense was
He didn't
spoiled.
do it.
Luka exposed him.
He
I'm
didn't.
not
He
like
didn't.
I don't know. I guess I'm giving it more to Luka the kid. But what was I even saying? Oh, it's the big
Luka
thing
got
is to
a
not
great game plan.
the big thing is to not freak out. Like their team is going to be the same or similar. The only big issue is going to be Cat. And I don't think you trade Cat unless the offer is good, obviously. You don't freak out and just trade Cat for something. Because if Cat plays well, you're potentially looking at a different series. Those first 2 games were close. If Cat doesn't shoot, 20% for the first 2 games, it could be a different series. If he actually is able to put in shots, be consistent, and be more effective on the offense side of the ball, like he's been all year, yeah, I truly think that this could be a different series. So, I think the big thing is just to not overreact, to not freak out. But if a good trade does pop up, like obviously, search it out. But bench pieces, you got to keep Nas, you got to keep Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They were huge. Jay McDaniels, obviously, Rudy, and like maybe I don't know what Mike Conley's going to be next year. I'd say another guard or another point guard for playmaking off the bench. I don't know. I think it's minimal though. I think it's very minimal work around the edges.
I mean, I've already talked about their future in reaction to, I believe, game 3. Once they went down 3-0, I started talking about their future. And I got some slander on Instagram because I said they should trade Cat. But he kind of handicaps what they can do with this team just because he's making $50 million to start the season next year. And they're going to be over the second apron in 2025 and 2026. They clearly need to get some more perimeter creation. This Western Conference Finals and this playoff run exposed that they don't have a lot of perimeter creation outside of Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards is a below average playmaker right now, and so he can't really run your offense. Mike Conley is a good playmaker, but he provides no real rim pressure, no real advantage creation, and so they need to get another perimeter threat to help out with Anthony Edwards, probably a point guard. But to get a high end point guard, they will probably have to move Cat. And moving Cat is so difficult because of one, his contract, and two, his age. He's getting up there in age. He's about to be 30 after next season. He's also just, again, we don't know if he's good enough to be a second option on a championship team. He's still got to prove that. So they obviously need to prove this team offensively, but they have little avenues to do it. So they're probably going to run his back. And what they're going to have to do is bank on the jump from Anthony Edwards, which can still happen. He's only 22. You still gonna get probably a few more jumps for him, offensively, defensively, that type of stuff. They'll have the bank on a jump from Jay McDaniels, who they're going to be paying about $30 million a year on that rookie scale max extension. They're going to have the bank on a jump from him. And then they're going to have the bank on Nas to stay where he is or keep improving. And they can't trade. They really can't trade Rudy or Cat. They can't trade Cat because nobody wants him and for that contract. They can't trade Rudy because he's the foundation of their defense, and their defense is going to take a real big jump. I mean, real big dip if he's on the team. So they're kind of in a situation where they got to run it back, and so they have to bank on those players to continue to improve. So they're not in the worst spot or anything like that. I don't think their window to win a championship is as long as people think it is, because their team's going to get very, very expensive in the next few years, and so their depth and flexibility is going to continue to dwindle. So yeah,
the big thing is they are going to need to adjust, right? Like if Cat and if Mike Conley are out, like you're just going to have to figure out new pieces to put next to Ant to build championship contender. So their championship window will probably be Ant, whatever that is, and putting pieces around him. It's just, I think how they win games is going to obviously look different as the revolving door of people or new teammates come in.
They need to try to get Darius Garland. To be honest, that's what they need to be trying to get.
I've seen it.
Because if
If
Donovan Mitchell
trading Cat for Darius Garland,
I don't think there's a gap. There's much of a gap between those two players. I promise you, it's not.
I think because of the money, but I think I'm taking Cat over DG at even money. At like the same contract
for this team. For this team, I don't know. For this
team,
I don't know.
I don't know.
They can slot Nas Reed in there and put Darius Garland in the
start
lineup. And
I get what you're saying as far as a team, but like I don't know.
You want DG.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just like, could you get more value elsewhere though?
Cat on the, like you just swap them. Cat for the idea of Cat and like the attributes itself, he fits the Cavs. You feel me? Just like how DG the Wolves. Like if like Lowry fit the Cavs, Lowry like right now Lowry fits the Cavs. Cat is basically Kyle Lowry. I'm not saying they're the same player or the same level. They're about the same level of player, whatever. But a big that can shoot and can stretch the floor. That's literally what they need. You could put him right next to Evan Mobley, and they'll probably I get it. Like a regular season, you could run D. Mitch, Mobley, and Cat, and you'll probably be fine. You'll probably have a good enough offense to, get you a top 4 or 5 seed. Playoffs, that's a whole different story. So we can't really talk about that too much because we already know what that's going to be. Like you just want to eat that at the back end. But DG on the Timberwolves, that's a lot better because Ant don't really got to do too much. He'd probably still get the same volume of shots without having to have the ball in his hands like so much. Like his usage would go down, his turnovers would go down. Could DG do most of that work? You know what I'm saying?
I think Cat works out east. I think Cat can win you games and play in the playoff out east.
Yeah, of course he can.
Like I think it's like
Julius Randle and Cat, they're the same like level of player. Julius Randle was during the regular season is probably a top 15 player in the East. Like,
yeah,
like Julius Randle could do what Cat could do. They about the same level of dude. Julius Randle a little bit more like his game a little bit more different. Like he's more aggressive. Like he gets to the cup, he battles down there whether he makes it or misses. You know, feel me? You still feel good about it because he's good through the regular season. Cat's a different person. He doesn't like bang how Julius Randle bangs. So like his game translates a little bit different. But I mean, for 82 game season, I'd be fine with either or.
So, Q, what do you think before we end this segment off? What do you think that the Timberwolves should do with their future?
There's no clear answer, but you need playmaker. You need a playmaker. You probably need a playmaker in both lineups, in a bench lineup and in the starting role.
Mike Conley is the bench one.
If he stay, I mean, he probably had to be gone. Like you trade, like if you trade for DG, he's probably in that trade package. Like it'd probably be Cat. It'd probably be a whole. It probably won't be like 2 teams. It'll probably be a third team. Mike Conley probably ends up somewhere else unless they really want to keep him. You feel me? If they really want to keep him, all right, whatever. Then he'll be on the bench. But I don't anticipate him being there if they're trading for. They're getting a very like a starting caliber point guard.
Okay.
I think they're good. Like
making that much.
1 through like 2, 3, and 4, like in their starting lineup, I think it's fine. If you swap out Cat for Nas Reed and like you just run that, I think they'll be fine. Their bench could use some help. But like it's not like extremely like a need, but like they have a bunch of the same like recurring things on the bench. I don't think everything is like I don't think it's like a clear cut thing. I think they have to do some real shuffling around, especially due to a lot of money and whatnot.
They don't have that many options to me because of their cap space, but I really don't think Cat has a market, to be honest, because of his contract. Like I don't know. Not many teams can absorb that and still be a good playoff team. Maybe the Cavs can, but I don't know how comfortable they would be paying the Supermax to Cat and Donovan Mitchell.